Oh yes, so this is a bit of a different style of video. This is something about how I coach. This is what a very important part, the nutrition. I'll be running through one of my clients' nutrition diaries and talking you through the little tweaks that I would be making, things that are red flags and things to change in order to make sure that we're progressing fat loss and everything's 100% accurate. Now, when it comes to fat loss, a lot of people just think it's track calories and it's follow these macros and follow this plan, but it's more than that. This is just a small part of what a check-in is every single week, but breaking down someone's nutrition might help you reflect on, right, you might be doing certain things and missing certain key areas that could be stopping you from actually losing the body fat that you want, even though you're doing everything right. So let's make my ugly head a little bit smaller. So what I do is get my clients to track every single day for the period of time that we work together, and then this gives me a period. Then I go through every single week what their nutrition looks like, and then a full breakdown, and see if I can't pull apart any single little bits that might be out of line, things that we can swap. Because I'm not a big fan of meal plans. I think meal plans are rigid, and I think yes, they will get a result, but ultimately it's not a long-term change. If I just give you a meal plan, you go and do it for 12 weeks, and then when I take away that meal plan and you leave, you're just left with like, okay, what do I do now? You'll just go back to your original nutrition. I'm very big on looking at your nutrition, making tiny little swaps in your nutrition and little suggestions so that we completely change your nutrition. You're eating the food that you want to eat, but it's actually aligned with your goals. So let's dive in. So for example, let's have a look at, this is a Monday, April the 12th. All looks very good in terms of our macros. So we've got 78 grams of protein, probably could be a little bit higher, 101 grams of carbs, and then 87 grams of fat. So our fats were quite high there, which we'd need to look at. And then fiber is 8 grams. So these are the 4 key components when I look at any kind of food diary: fat, protein, carbs, fiber. They're the most important. Now, this is a female client, so let's talk about the averages. For men and women, so for women, it would be anywhere from 100 to 120 grams. Usually average is what the goal should be. For men, it should be from 150 to 180 grams as a bit of an average. When it comes to carbs and fat, we don't have to be too specific at the start. As long as you're hitting your protein and hitting your fiber target and staying within your calorie target, you can spend your carbs and your fats how you like. We just want to ensure that we are fueling our workouts. So you want to get a bit of a focus on your carbohydrates. But as the weeks go on, I try and educate my clients, right, let's potentially put this before our workouts, let's put this after our workouts, and it gets refined every single week. So for example, if I was going to look at this food diary, and an easy way to, things that would be red flags that I would flag up would be peanut butter, 1 teaspoon. Now a teaspoon of peanut butter can be this big or it can be this big. So this can be quite a generic measure. So we'd want to make sure that that is weighed and make sure it's in grams. Oat milk is potentially something that I would lose. I would potentially go for water because it's an easy win. We could drop 100 calories there and then we could replace it with water and you probably wouldn't notice. And that's an easy way to reduce your calories without actually having to do anything. Tablespoon of olive oil, again, quite a generic measure, and I'd probably want that either weighed, because olive oil is probably one of the worst things on a fat loss journey because it's so unpredictable, it's very hard to weigh. What I would always recommend is getting the spray oil. You can put olive oil into a spray and it's usually 10 calories per spray, and it's a lot easier to manage, so that's usually one as well. Chipotle mayo, tablespoon, again, we want that in grams just to ensure that we're getting 100% accuracy. Because if that, let's say that chipotle mayo's off, let's say that olive oil's off, and let's say that peanut butter's off, that could be an extra 300 calories and we think we're eating correctly. Now 300 calories a day might not seem too much, but you times that by 7, that's 2,100 calories extra we're eating a week. And then if you do that over the month, that's almost 2 pounds of fat that we've gained. And although we think we're eating healthy and we're tracking everything correctly, because these measures aren't 100% accurate, you could actually be gaining weight and doing everything right. So this is where the specifics kick in, and this is why it's important to review people's information and make sure and work alongside them, not just give them a generic plan. This is how you edit someone's food for the long term and actually get the result that you want. So let's go into another day. So this was actually quite good, but again, generic tablespoon on the Philadelphia, we'd want that in grams. Worcestershire sauce, we'd probably want that in grams as well, or milliliters. Buttered salt teaspoon, again, probably want that in grams. This is all something that I've told them as well. Again, 1 cup can be generic, can be mixed in terms of what we're doing. So if we want 100% accuracy and we want the best result possible, we need to have it to the gram and weighed. And it's these little things, like I mentioned, like if we just have like 200, 300 extra calories every single day, that's going to mount up over the month. And even though you're training hard, you're getting your steps, you're hitting your sleep, hitting your water, tracking your calories, making sure that you're eating correct, you might be over just from these simple mistakes that you might not be realizing. And that was pretty much, this is just a quick deep dive into my client, but this is a very simple overlook of what my clients would look like. And then we would go away, make these changes, make these edits, and then this then obviously compounds over time. So she'd refine this going into this week. Then next week I'd review her nutrition again. She would have made these changes, and then I'll be looking for something else, either where we can potentially reduce. So if we talk about reduction, so if I was going to try and reduce this person's calories, let's say, I would drop the oat milk. We could probably lose the slice of cheese, and then instead of using whole eggs, I would use egg whites. We would probably save 200, 300 calories, and we haven't changed any food. All we've done is drop a slice of cheese and a little bit of milk, and then we're ahead and we've already got a bigger deficit, and we haven't had to change our food dramatically, which means it wouldn't change our hunger dramatically. So these are just key points that I make in all of my clients. I run through all their nutrition, make sure everything's on point, and these are the things that I would be reviewing if you was my client. Just to give you a bit of an example of what online coaching looks like, a lot of people just think it's a meal plan, it's a training plan. I do it a little bit differently. I think this is the key to long-term change, and for you educating your clients to understand that actually this is how you do it, and this is why we're making these changes, and then they'll be learning as the process goes on, hopefully to maintain and keep these results afterwards. Because I know that no one wants to pay a coach forever, but they want to make sure, so we want to make sure that you make the most of that coaching for as long as possible, and then they get the results, and then they go and tell all their pals, go with him, he'll sort you out for the long term. And that is my ethos, and that's how I work, really. So I hope this has been helpful. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but this is how I would break down someone's food, and these are the key points that you need to be looking for, and this could be the difference of you looking exactly how you want to, or actually making no progress but trying your hardest. Peace. Have a good one.